And welcome to video number 2 in our KipwareCYC series. Here in this video we're going to start to actually create a cycle time estimate for the part that we have illustrated up on the screen. So you can see that we have 2 diameters turned off of our rough stock. We've got a groove and we've got a couple of holes on the front. It's not really important to remember the dimensions of the part, just the process that we're going to use to create the cycle time estimate. We'll put some dimensions in as we go through and do the estimate, but basically what we're going to do is put it in a lathe, turn down the 2 diameters, do the groove, and then put the 2 holes in on the face. So let's jump right into KipwareCYC and start to create the cycle time estimate. The first thing that we're going to do is put in some customer specifics. This is basically just reference information so that you can tie the reference information in with the part number that's inside the cycle time estimate. What we're basically going to do through CYC is we're going to go through and we're going to manufacture the part operation by operation. So the first thing we're going to do is rough turn down those 2 diameters. So what we're going to do is select operation number 1. We'll come through, we'll pull down a machine from the database, we'll pull down a material from the database, we'll pull down one of the main operations, which in this case is rough turning, and then one of those 10 subcategories that we showed you when we did the database video. We're going to use a carbide insert. We've got some just general stuff in the subcategories. I'm going to put an operation description. And then I'm going to give it some user specifics. So we need to know a little bit about what's happening other than the speeds and feeds, what's happening to machine this particular operation. So handling time. What we're going to do is we're going to use this as the time that's going to take us to put it in the chuck. This is a chucking part, so we're going to have to load it in the chuck. We're going to put in 20 seconds to load it in the chuck. And now it comes time for the length of cut. And we're going to use our cut length calculator, which is an application that comes with CYC, to be able to come up with this length of cut. Basically, this is the tool being in the cut. How long is it going to be in the cut, taking material off? So we're going to start our CLC, which is basically our cut length calculator. And we're going to delve into CLC in a little bit more detail in another video. But for right now, we're going to use the conversational screens in CLC, which is OD turning. By conversational, we mean fill in the blank forms. So I'm going to, you can see from this form that we have up to 6 different diameters that we can define in this particular OD turning conversational screen. We've got 2 diameters, so I'm going to select 2 and then I'm going to put in the diameter values. So our larger diameter in the back is 4 inches, and the distance from the face is 2.750. Our smaller diameter is 2.75, and that goes for a length of 2 1/8. Now some cutting parameters that we're going to put in. The OD of the rough stock is going to be 5 inches. The depth of cut is going to be 0.75, and we're going to leave 10 thousandths on the faces and 10 thousandths on the diameter for our finish cut. So before I go through and hit the calculate button, I know that I'm going to have to come back and do some finish turning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this operation. Just give it a name. Then hit the calculate button. The software will go through and calculate the length of cut that's required for this particular tool to do this operation. What I can do now is I can copy this to the clipboard, go back to my form. I could paste this information into the length of cut and then give it an average tool and work diameter, which in this case is going to be 3 inches, and then select the calculate button. Now the software will go through and look into the database at the operation and the machine that we're using and calculate the RPM, the feed rate, and then the rapid time, tool change time, and cutting time for this particular operation. If I decide that I want to override either the RPM or the feed rate, I can do so within the form, hit the recalculate button, and it will do a recalculate with the new time. When I leave the form, we have a little checkbox that shows that the RPM and feed rate were adjusted by the user. Select the calculate button and I get my information as it was overridden, If I uncheck the box, it'll go back to the information that was in the database and come up with the time again. So in this case we have 1.61 to be able to rough turn that particular part. And creating a cycle time estimate is just basically just what we did, is going through the part operation by operation, describing the operation, describing the length of cut, and having the software go through and calculate the RPM and feed rate. When we come back in video number 3, we're going to add the rest of the operations to this cycle time estimate and take a look at how we would go about creating the complete cycle time estimate. I'll be in video number 3.